Welcome to my lesson on transporting plants, the movement of water into roots. In this lesson, we are going to look at the transport of water into the plant through the roots using the apoplast and symplast pathway.
We've now looked at transpiration, but how does water enter the root? Water moves into the root down a water potential gradient by osmosis, so this is a passive process. Mineral ions are taken up from where they are in a lower concentration in the soil to where they are in a higher concentration in the root cells by active transport. Water then needs to move through from the epidermal cells to the xylem in the centre of the root, and there are two main pathways, the apoplastic and symplastic. The apoplastic pathway passes through the cellulose cell walls of the cell. The cell walls are fully permeable to water, and the water molecules can move freely between the cellulose molecules or even in gaps between the cells. The water does not pass through the plasma membrane, so it does not move by osmosis. Remember, osmosis is the movement of water molecules across a partially permeable membrane. Instead, the water moves by mass flow. Dissolved mineral ions and salts can be carried with the water. The symplastic pathway is when water passes through the cytoplasm of the cells. I always remember SY and CY go together, so C and Psi. Water enters the root cell cytoplasm and can pass through the plasmodesmata from one cell to the next. The plasmodesmata are cell junctions or cytoplasmic bridges, where the cytoplasm of one cell is connected to that of another through a gap in the cell wall. Water can also pass through the vacuoles in much the same way as it passes through the cytoplasm, and this is known as the vacuolar pathway. The Casparian strip is a waterproof layer found in the cell walls of the cells of the endodermis. It is named after their discoverer Robert Caspari, a German botanist in the 19th century. It is very rare in the botanical literature to name something after a person, so it's quite a lucky chap really. The Casparian strip is made of lignin, like in xylem walls, and it forces the water and minerals into the symplastic pathway so that the plant can control the flow of water and minerals into the stele, which is the central part of the root where the xylem and phloem are found. The forcing of water and minerals into the symplastic pathway is sometimes known as an apoplastic barrier. This can be very important because it means that the plant can control the entry of various different minerals, including salt when in a high salt environment. In crops, salinity is one of the major environmental stresses influencing their growth worldwide, and controlling sodium uptake is crucial for the survival of most plants. There are some really important terms to use when you're discussing the movement of water through the plant. The water potential is the measure of the tendency of water molecules to diffuse from one region to another. Osmosis is the movement of water molecules down their water potential gradient across a partially permeable membrane. A turgid cell is when the plant cell is full of water. Flaccid tissue is when plant tissue contains plasmolysed cells. Plasmolysis is when the plasma membrane loses contact with the cell wall due to severe water loss from the cell. And active transport is the movement of molecules across a plasma membrane against their concentration gradient using ATP and protein carriers.